Are you staring at your bookshelf, completely overwhelmed and wondering what to read next? You are not alone. Picking your next book can be a real struggle, especially with all the other books out there. But don't worry, I've got you covered. January is all about fresh starts, and why not start with an amazing TBR? Today, I'm sharing a curated list with everything from epic battles to romantic reads, ensuring that there might be something for everyone to help make your decisions a little bit easier. As always, I like to start off my TBR with the books that I said I was going to read that I haven't finished yet. Since I gave the book descriptions in other videos, I'll just link those videos down below if you want the book summaries, but I'm trying to focus more on specifically why you should still read this book. And of course, this list starts off with Convergence and Competitions by Sharon F. Green. These are books 1 and book 2 in the Blending series. It's an epic fantasy series filled with political intrigue and rivalries. So if you're a fan of political intrigue or just love really immersive world building, these books might be ones for you that you haven't heard of. My next Kindle read is going to be 30 Nights with the Billionaire by J.M. Snap. Sometimes we just need a book that's indulgent and emotionally gripping, and 30 Nights with a Billionaire might just be that perfect escape for you. It's a story about love, trust, and second chances. And I think it would be a pretty great read for anyone who wants romance, but with some real drama to it. Then, of course, we have My Happy Marriage Volume 4 by Akumiyagi Toki. And this continues a really heartwarming story of love and resilience. Though you may want to start with Volume 1 if you haven't read any of them. And if you're going to pick up this series, now is the perfect time because I really loved the Netflix adaptation, and Season 2 is releasing on January 6th. At this point, I know 2 of the 4 books that I have to read for book clubs next month. The first one for my sister's book club is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms, there are no secrets in this house, and her mother doesn't allow Cordelia to have a single friend, unless you count Falada, her mother's beautiful white horse. The only time Cordelia feels truly free is on her daily rides with him. But more than simple eccentricity sets her mother apart. Other mothers don't force their daughters to be silent and motionless for hours, sometimes days on end. Other mothers aren't evil sorcerers. After a suspicious death in their small town, Cordelia's mother insists they leave in the middle of the night, riding away together on Falada's sturdy back, leaving behind all Cordelia has ever known. They arrive at the remote country manor of a wealthy older man, the Squire, and his unwed sister, Hester. Cordelia's mother intends to lure the Squire into marriage, and Cordelia knows this can only be bad news for the bumbling gentleman and his kind, intelligent sister. And indeed, Hester sees the way Cordelia shrinks away from her mother, how the young girl sits eerily still at dinner every night. Hester knows that to save her brother from bewitchment and to rescue the terrified Cordelia, she will have to face down a wicked witch of the worst kind. So I normally read T. Kingfisher's horror novels, but most of my friends actually prefer her fantasy. This book is supposed to have a lot of humor, magic, and whimsy, and it might just be the perfect book for fantasy fans who don't necessarily want to take their stories too seriously, but still want a story with a lot of heart to it. Then there's the book that I'll be reading for my roommate's book club, A Magical Girl Retires by Park Sol-yeon. 29, depressed, and drowning in credit card debt after losing her job during the pandemic, a millennial woman decides to end her troubles by jumping off Seoul's Mapo Bridge. But her suicide attempt is interrupted by a girl dressed all in white, her guardian angel. Aurora is a clairvoyant magical girl on a mission to find the greatest magical girl of all time, and our protagonist just may be that special someone. But the young woman's initial excitement turns to frustration when she learns being a magical girl in real life is much different than how it's portrayed in stories. It isn't just destiny, it's work. Magical girls go to job fairs, join trade unions, attend classes. And for this magical girl, there is no special powers and no great perks, and despite being magical, she still battles with low self-esteem. Her magic wand is a credit card, which she must use to defeat a terrifying threat that isn't a monster or an intergalactic war. It's global climate change, because magical girls need to think about sustainability too. So this book, I've heard, offers a really fresh take on the magical girl trope, and as somebody who lived in South Korea for 2 years and actually visited Mapo Bridge, I'm just pretty excited about this book. But it's supposed to have really strong themes around identity and purpose, and a must-read for those of us who loved the magical girl trope growing up. So if you were a Sailor Moon or Cardcaptor Sakura girly like I was, you should definitely read this book. If you've been following my channel for a while, you would know that I'm trying to catch up on all the magical readathon prompts that I missed in the last 2 years of not really being active on BookTube. And in December, I officially started the Lightfall 2023 Reading Challenge. I'll link Book Roast's video about the challenge down below if you want to see it. After a few reads that will be covered in my wrap-up next week, I rolled a 3, which took me to Shank and Shaw Legitimate Retailer. This year, the prompt for this shop was to steal a book from somebody else's TBR. So I went onto my story graph and hopped on my friend Piney's profile and stole the first book that sounded interesting on her TBR. And that book was Projections by S.E. Porter. Love may last a lifetime, but in this dark historical fantasy, the bitterness of rejection endures for centuries. As a young woman seeks vengeance on the obsessed sorcerer who murdered her because he could not have her, her murderer sends projections of himself out into the world to seek out and seduce women who will return the love she denied or suffer mortal consequences. A lush, gothic journey across worlds full of strange characters and even stranger magic. If you enjoy books that make you think and that kind of focus on the idea of perceptions and reality, this book may be for you. It's supposed to make you think about what's real and what's imagined, and Storygraph recommends it to anybody who enjoys the more thought-provoking, speculative fiction of people like Vandermeer. And this is how my friend Piney described S.E. Porter's writing when I told them I was reading this book. She's very allegorical and artsy. She is firmly in the weird category, but I love her. To figure out what my last book of the month will be, since I still don't know what 2 of my book club books are going to be, I rolled a D8 again and got a 5. Which took me to Smith and Friends and Sons, Arcane Goods and Such. And the prompt here was to read the most recent book that I had added to my TBR list, which was Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss. I'm just a girl, and it turns out I'm Hercules. I'm struggling to survive in a Titan-infested world where Spartans, immortals from 12 royal families who have godlike powers and obscene wealth, rule over all. A shy, stammering foster child with nothing, I keep my head down, cover my scars, and focus on excelling in school. At least I try to. Then it happens. My blood test reveals I'm part of the powerful elite. I'm one of them, a Spartan. Forced to attend the Spartan War Academy, I undergo the most harrowing test of all time to see if I have what it takes to be an immortal. There's just a few problems. Achilles and Patra are my scary mentors. Charon, the ferryman of death, and Augustus, the son of war, are my terrifying professors. Also, I'm pretty sure either someone's stalking me everywhere I go, or my sanity's slipping. I have a bad feeling both are true. I'm surrounded by villains, and they're smothering me with their hate, obsession, and dark possessiveness. Too bad for them, they have no clue just who they're messing with. So I've been seeing this book kind of blow up on different book channels across the book community, and I think it might be a great one for my fellow romantasy fans out there. And I heard this may just be a story where she ends up with the villain, which is totally why you should watch my video from last week, Why We Love Morally Gray Characters. Let's see what stories tomorrow brings.